great commissioner, who's really open and you know, supports them. And you feel that. You feel that, you know, when you have someone behind you that really believe in what's right, it motivates you to do the right thing. I think those two factors show why they're much further along.
Yeah. Are there
down what he's saying with it makes sense on a humanitarian level. He said the word identifying. You know, a lot of people try to say they relate to things. Relating to things is much different than identifying. You can identify with different people's opinions. It doesn't mean you're agreeing or not. You just understand that that's part.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I look at these interviews in its entirety, I do see that there is a lot of calculation in everything that he says, and like that's respectable. But it is also like it brings pause because it's like somebody that well educated and mannerisms and way like you know what I mean? Like it is you're a different type of monster. And hopefully you're a monster for the people. Because it sounds like it. You feel what I'm saying? Let's see.
incidents even at this stage in your life? So you're famous, you're rich, you own stuff, where you run into racism that's evident to you, that's easy to recognize at this stage of your life?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But it mostly comes when you try to challenge the status quo. If I'm being quiet and entertaining, everyone's cool. Ah, man, it's great. You don't feel racism. But when you try to challenge the club, it's like, oh, no, we should have a seat at this, to use the Solange album title. We should have a seat at this table. And then it gets into a space where it's like, wait, you guys are mad at me about the same thing you guys are doing. And it's just, it gets into a weird space.
Are you in?
Oh, now, like right there, he's saying, he's making it seem like he is not part of that elite club.
I think he's also, to an extent, referring to him going and wanting to buy an NFL team. Because in that situation, I mean, he straight up was just not welcome at that table. And it's nothing he's done recently. They brought up shit that he did growing up. That was their reason to not associate with that. I feel like he's touching a little bit to that. That situation is most relevant to me with what he's saying there. Like, they brought up so crack. Like, he's come a long way since then. Like, what he was saying about his kids. I had to use certain tools in my environment. You know? Those people that didn't want him owning a part of the NFL didn't grow up in that environment. It's not like he was grown up and was like, everything's great, I'm going to start slinging. It's simply, he was a product of his environment, through and through.
Hell yeah, nah, one of the things, like I said, that I respect the most about him is that there. And for me, it's like, there's not too many people that you can look at in hip-hop that have come from the bottom, as we see it, to the level that he is at. So, when you hear him say that he is running into those roadblocks and stuff, it kind of brings it back home, like, he's one of us, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's hitting roadblocks and stuff and different things as well, so if he was doing certain, you know, I'm just trying to,
it's easy for people that aren't at his level to look up at him and say, he's got it all. He doesn't have problems like us, but he's sitting there saying, like, I am where I am who I am, but I still come across those struggles to be able to sit at that table with that group.
Meetings now in your business life where you're the only black man in the room?
Well, when I was doing the Nets, I was definitely the only black guy in the room.
And what was that like? Describe that.
It's strange, but at the same time, I think that in that room, my celebrity allowed me a voice that probably would have been awkward for someone in my position, being the only black person in the room, to break through.
This album sounds to me like a therapy session It's in the sense. Have you been in therapy?
Yeah.
First off, how does Jay-Z find a therapist? Not in the phone book, right?
No, through great friends of mine. Friends of mine who've been through a lot and, come out on the other side as like whole individuals.
What was that like being in therapy? What did you talk about that you had never acknowledged to yourself or talked about?
I grew so much from the experience. But I think the most important thing I got is that everything is connected. Every emotion is connected and comes from somewhere. And just being aware of it. Being aware of it in everyday life puts you at such an advantage. You realize that, if someone's racist toward you, it's not even about you. It ain't about you. It's about their upbringing and what happened to them and how they led them to this point. Most bullies bully. It's happened. Oh, you got bullied as kids, so you're trying to bully me. I understand.
Right.
And once I understand that, instead of reacting to that with anger, I can provide a softer landing. And maybe, oh man, is you okay? I was just saying, there was a lot of fights in our neighborhood that started with, what you looking at? Why are you looking at me? You looking at me? And then you realize, you think I see you. You're in the space where you're hurting and you think I see you, so you don't want me to look at you. And you don't want me to see you in such a you don't want me to see your pain. So you put on this shell of this tough person that's really willing to fight me and possibly kill me because I looked at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Yes.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, my man's is so vulnerable in that state, talking about therapy and like different things that a lot of guys won't touch on. And that whole presentation right there feels genuine to me. I can't see hurt people.
Definitely.
So for him to be involved in this situation, I would need to hear damn near in one of these interviews or something we're gonna watch him say that something happened to him with that line.
I will say that I want to highlight one of the lines he just said when he said, "You think I see you." That was powerful to a different level.
Right.
You are feeling a certain way about your situation or about yourself. You are thinking everyone else is viewing you that same way. And that was strong when he said that. It took me back a little bit. I was like, that's a really good way to put it.
Bro, the first time I seen that joint, like I seen the original when this went up, I felt that shit. You know what I'm saying?
You think I see? No, I see a person. I'm not seeing you with judgment.
Right.
I'm just seeing a person. You reacting that way, you're letting the way you judge yourself be put out into the open air.
Exactly.
Like that reaction says it all.
Man, he dropping gems.
Knowing that and understanding that changes life completely.
Was that a moment that came from therapy?
Yeah, just realizing that, oh my goodness, these young men coming from they're just in pain. You got to survive. So you go into survival mode. When you go into survival mode, what happened? You shut down.
Right.
You shut down all emotions.
Right.
So even with women, you got shut down emotionally, so you can't connect. And then now all things happen from there. Infidelity.
You can't connect because you can't connect because of the way you feel about yourself, you mean?
Yes. In my case, like it's deep.
Right. You've bared your soul so much, not only in this album, and I mean you can sort of see the evolution of a person in your music. Part of me would think, oh my God, I got to talk about my marriage, I got to talk about my mother, I got to talk about my other ancestors. Part of me would think that would make me nuts. Does it make you nuts, or do you feel like the heart of your art and storytelling is to tell the story of your life?
That's who I am. And I've done it from the beginning of my career. Two things, one, no one knew the characters, so it wasn't as impactful, and two, it wasn't coming from a place that was as evolved. And it's very difficult. It's hard. It's hard to hear songs back. It's hard to perform songs, but I feel it's the most important work that I've done, and I'm very proud of it. And the effect that it's having on people, and even like the studio sessions. Right. You know, we were having 4-hour conversations after playing one song. I learned so much about people that was around me, just my friends. I learned things about them that I didn't know that in 20-year relationship just from this one song. So I knew it would have that sort of impact beyond myself. It's my responsibility as an artist to go to these places.
Did your wife's...
I know I just came back in and stuff, so I missed a lot of good stuff. But that part there at the end resonated with me really, really heavy. The responsibility of the artist. I feel like that is not a thing anymore. I feel like so many people just create music and content, and they forget that this was all about art. Is art, and it affects people.
Certainly.
So the fact that they don't carry it with that weight, it's just like having a gun and not, knowing how to use it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, you have a very powerful weapon in this art form that we have, and the responsibility is not there.
Getting your craft out there, kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
Or is it getting the craft out there in a responsible way?
Well, I don't even think it's just that. I feel like it is the craft itself. I feel like there are more creators. There are more people that know that they can throw some stuff on there with the paintbrush and sell it and don't care about the meaning behind it.
The difference between making a painting and making art.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the intention and just the whole creative process. I feel like that should require more responsibility.
For sure. I'm not a music artist, but it's good hearing, because the way I heard it, I didn't hear it as deeply as you did. With you being a music artist yourself, it was good hearing that side of it. Because now it resonates a little different to me.
For sure. Well, I got girls, like little girls, so as soon as I heard that, the shit just went to some of the music that's out. And not that I hate on it, because that's the time that we in.
Yeah.
But the time that we in has come to the point where as though music has lost the art form and it has become more of the whatever will get them to shake their ass and whatever, and it does things to communities, children, blah, blah, blah. And that responsibility is gone, and it's about the profit. But I ain't gonna get too far into that. I just, you know what I'm saying?
Own confessional album, which came out first, make it so that you had to be even extra confessional. And in other words, it would have been hard after her album, which talked frankly about you guys to like have an album to come out that would be about
frivolous anything. Yeah. It actually started out, we were working on material together, and it became Lemonade.
Yeah.
You know, she went off and did her thing, and it was like, it just felt like she should go first, and she should share her truths with the world. So it wasn't based on I have to say something because of this album. It wasn't even like that. It's just really honest.
But you probably couldn't have gotten away with, okay, you do the album Wife that talks about our pain. I'm going to go do an album that talks about, my love of art.
You never know.
Right.
I think it turned out for the best. I think, but you just never know, because people like to be entertained. Again, back to our president. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would think, man, after the composed manner at which Obama stood at that podium, the dignity he brought to that place, that this couldn't exist, but it does.
Do you have any disappointments in Obama? There are people who say the expectations of him as the first black president was so great. He was supposed to get rid of racism and fix everything.
Yeah.
Is that unfair? Do you think, did he live up to all of your expectations?
Yes, because all he can do is the best he can do. He's not a superhero. And it's unfair to place unfulfillable expectations on this man just because of his color. You're actually doing the opposite. It's like, what do you think is going to happen? He's there for 8 years. And he has to undo what 43 presidents have done in 8 years. It's not fair.
What do you think of the state of I'm not going to say just black leadership, leadership period, on the things you care about in the country? Who do you look at and say, this man or woman speaks for the things I care about?
It's going to be funny, but I find it funny, but my leadership, I like Dave Chappelle's leadership.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
You're going to vote for Dave Chappelle for president?
Because he tells it in humor so you can deal with it, but it's always a nice chunk of truth in there.
Is there a part of you, because you have a certain amount of money, that gets a little more conservative, or does having money not change your politics?
No, no, because I'm not. I believe in people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want what's best for people.
Mm-hmm.
I love people. Mm-hmm. You know, so I don't have that sort of thing like I want to vote Republican just to save more money.
Right.
That's not the end game. It's not about who got more money and who got more houses. Yes, you know, you've earned it. Buy what you want.
Right.
You know.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm sorry I had to keep pausing this, but this interview even more like puts that stamp and that fire back in me to where as though like I don't feel bad about being inspired by this person.
Yeah, his
You know,
his mindset of the world is just. I might not make that same choice, but I get that it happens.
yeah.
He seems very at peace with his surroundings. I mean, just generally, even surroundings he can't control. He just seems really, but probably one of the most open-minded people I've ever heard speak.
For me, it's like I appreciate that part, but it's just like when we're doing what we're doing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dialogue, the way that you express your ideas, of course. The way that he makes it so as though people can digest. I guess from being, you know what I mean, from one side and making it to this level and being able to give it to you so you can digest it. And like I said, like you can feel that shit. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure, what he said about Dave Chappelle is that he's like, there's truth in it, but he says it in a way that people can digest it a little bit. Like he
And then the power
understands
struggle
how
thing.
to. Yeah, for sure.
Like, all right, so they were saying that Beyonce is like under chains and this, that, and the other and stuff. Then you hear about this album and stuff, and it's like,
We all know what album that was.
right, I remember this. Somebody under chains and stuff, you know, and you know what I mean? Like
And he said, like he said, she's free to have her viewpoint or opinion. That's individual freedom, which you don't always see.
right.
Like in a relationship like that, people always put that label, power couple. She voiced her opinion, even though it was in a kind of negative way towards him. He's like, that's okay.
Right,
She has the right to have her truth.
right though. Nah, I fuck with it so far.
No, but don't forget what's important. Without people, being rich would be very boring.
Right.
No one to share with, no one to have. You know what I mean? Like, you just be a rich person, one person on the planet. Just like,
Yeah.
well, then what do you do?
When I heard this latest album, and then I thought about the earlier albums, one theme was sort of reaching the promised land. You know, you've acquired influence, and not just money, but your life is good. And then when you listen to the newest album, you're thinking, he must have been in a lot of pain when life was good.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
Yeah, I did listen to a song called Song Cry.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of the hook, never seen it coming down my eyes, but I got to make the song cry. It tells you right there what I was hiding.
Mm-hmm.
And the strongest thing a man can do is cry.
Mm-hmm.
To expose your feelings, to be vulnerable in front of the world. That's real strength.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you feel like you got to be this guarded person. That's not real.
Mm-hmm.
It's fake.
Mm-hmm. Does that mean you were unhappy during that period and didn't have a handle on it, or what?
Well, you compartmentalize, right? So you can be inside your body and be happy, but at the core of it, something else is going on.
Right. As a, parent, I thought one of the most painful scene or line or whatever in the album was when you are talking about having almost lost your marriage, and you talk about what it would have been like to watch another man play football with your kid. I thought that is like, given that you have talked so much about your life and your music, are there things that you put a wall around? I'm not going to talk about that. You've talked about the pain of growing up, where you grew up, how you grew up, your father leaving early, the pain of your marriage. being in therapy, are there things you say, I'm not going there?
Yeah, and it mostly involves other people, because when other people are involved, you have to also, you may be ready to expose these things, and there's certain parts of, it's also other people's truth as well. A perfect example is my mom.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
And
When did
I didn't have permission to do that song first. So just like we had a beautiful conversation.
When did you realize your mother was gay?
Really early on.
Like as a little kid?
Not. Let's say call it teenage years.
So you realized it and talked to her about it? What was that?
We never spoke about it. It just exists. It was there. Everyone knew.
Gotcha.
But we never spoke about it until, like, recently. Now we start having these beautiful conversations and just really like getting to know each other. We were always good friends, but now we're like really great friends, And we were just talking as friends, and then she was sharing that she was in love. And I guess it's years of like feeling for her and feeling like she's free. She can be herself. She doesn't have to hide for her kids or feeling she's embarrassing her kids. It was a much different time then. Don't just think about.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? She could just live her full life, her whole life, and be her.
Will this get harder over time? Like, as a young man, your music was the way a lot of young rappers are. It's like, the violent life. If that's chapter 1 of the autobiography, chapter 2 of the autobiography, I'm oversimplifying this, is like, now I'm really rich, I have a lot of stuff, let me tell you how cool that is. And then chapter 3 of the autobiography is, oh my God, I'm like run myself into the ground. What's
chapter 3 is, oh my goodness, the most beautiful things are not these objects. The most beautiful things are.
I was just about to ask you to pause it so I could go back on. So, interviewer, done decent. I feel like a lot of the way that he does approach certain questions, he does in kind of some of them being asked in like a negative way. When it goes back to what he was saying about his mother, the way this man identifies with everything, he was like, it was always there. But it's that he identifies, like...
You think it's a lack of empathy, though? Like, do you think that he is really identifying and relating to?
I think it could go two ways.
Empathy and just that natural understanding?
It could go, in my opinion, I think it goes two ways. It could be looked at as a lack of empathy, or you could look at it as he's just accepting of different ways. Like, yeah, he knew his mom was gay. It was never really talked about, never really brought up. But
I didn't know that.
I just found out when he said it.
Yeah,
but the way he approached it, but with the negative questions, the way the interviewer asked certain things, he was like, violent lifestyle. Now I'm rich and I got
Chevy Equinox EV starting at $34.
And it's like, Jay-Z never bragged about riches. He mentions
now, when I was
what
younger,
he's
I
got.
remember him doing a little bit of bragging or boasting per se. But there's some comments coming through on the joint.
For real?
YouTube right now.
So if you had to buy just one of the trilogy, it'd be number 3 you would recommend, or would you? It's better to have all 3, really, isn't it?
Let me pause this for
Everybody's asking
just because you brought it up. All right, let's see. There's a video knocking around, him and Diddy meeting in a room. There's like 6 little girls. Now, look, the whole thing. We're gonna go through all of the different parts. You want us to go to the beginning? You want us to go to 1998 style Jay-Z and shit like that?
I'm gonna pull up a screen over here. You said a video with him and Diddy and little girls?
That's what came through in the chat. So
All right.
let's go back.
Hey, chat, send a link to that video. I'm gonna look it up on my screen over here.
All right, Jay-Z. Let's go ahead. Let's look into some. This is only 2 minutes to a short joint.
With the article in the source, you were saying that you're kind of like, we're going to switch gears a little bit, but that you said that you told me that you had never been in love before.
You ain't put that in the article.
Yes, I did.
I don't think you did.
I did.
You left a lot of stuff out too. A lot of good stuff at the pier.
I know, but they only gave me a certain amount of time.
I'm messing with you. Yeah, it's just like I love you know women I was with. I love things about them. You know what I'm saying? But I never been in love with. They say love is forever, and I never felt that forever type of thing. You know what I mean? I never been away from anyone and be like, can't wait to get back to them. And I don't think I guard myself. I don't want to allow myself. But I know that. So I'm on my way to recovery, you know. Maybe soon. I'm on my way.
So for people who think that like you're a player and you have all these girls and you're never at home, you know, like is that the image of you out, you know, off the camera?
I like a lot of different things. I think that's another reason, you know what I mean? Like a lot of different things. Like this girl might be witty, or this one might have a sense of style that I like, or this one just have a natural raw. I like a lot of different things. Until I can find that all in one person, I gotta keep moving.
So what's the most important thing to you about, like what would be the most important trait that the woman would have to have?
I would just say witty, definitely witty. I like a sharp person. You know what I mean? Witty, I like that. Not silly.
So like, what do you mean not silly? Like
just intelligent. What like can get a joke. You know what I mean? Like watch your episode of Seinfeld and just be, holding a stomach or something. You know. But but not silly though. Not too silly. That's a hard trait to nail down like that.
You mean silly, like just stupid silly?
Yeah, like giggly.
Said a black and white video.
Yeah, it's on this Facebook page. I'm on the page right now. I see some Diddy stuff. I'm looking for it. I don't know how. Oh, whoa. There we go, right here. I think this is the one they're talking about. It's in black and white. I do see some children in the background. Whose fucking kids are those?
Is his Facebook page the same as his YouTube name?
Hold on. I need context to this. I can't just. Bro, like, I get what you're saying, but I can't even. Those
Hey, is this the page, brother?
That might be. It's K.A. Stanley.
Is it the Facebook page?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I typed his damn name in.
I mean,
well, hey, in the Gorilla Zone, we are open. We view everything with an open mind.
who's kids in the background? I'm going straight to the comments.
You talking about the one that lives in New York?
Yeah. Nah, it's like a media joint. It's got like 145,000 followers.
K.A.
or something
Stanley?
like that.
No media shit with K.A. Stanley.
Jay-Z on Dame his ass. I wonder if Dame is going to say anything. He spoke on Diddy. I wonder if he's going to say anything.
There's a lot of people saying stuff right now, and that's causing for a lot of the speculation that's going around. Like people are dropping names and shit, but we've not seen a formal list.
Well, that's why I go back and give Jay a fair enough shot for people to be able to look back at the mannerism, the consistency in what he's saying and what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm still over here trying to look this shit up. Is this it? You said video company?
Yeah, that's probably it. I found it.
What's their profile photo look like? Because this is all like individual people.
It don't matter whose kids, none of his own. I guess that's a fair enough question. But like I said, I don't know if there's other, like, if kids, adults in there. I don't know. I see Beyonce and their children in the back.
All right, so
It takes 5 seconds to skip the video and
Stanley Cup. Looking at everything.
I'm very pleased to have Jay-Z back at this table. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Tell me about what it was about this movie
Sure.
that inspired you to do this
responsibility.
It's a New York City tale, you know. So as soon as the movie came on, it was like familiar things that my pops seen and my uncles seen, and you know, different things like that, things I've seen growing up. So and it resonated with me in a way, the story, as well as, I mean, even though everything happens, you know, the way it turns out, you know, it's one of those movies that we actually champion the good guy, because the good guys, you know, he don't seem like a bad guy, and the bad guy, I mean, the good guys are bad. It's, you know, that complex, the complexity in human beings in this thing was amazing to me. I love the complexity in human beings. Like, you know, you have one guy, the good guy, you know, these guys are supposed to be cops, you know, they're corrupt cops, and, you know, they're extorting everyone, and this guy's supposed to be a bad guy, and he's having dinner with his whole entire family there after he bought his mom's a huge house, you know, so it's just
and the cop, who's a straight guy about corruption, you know, has this sort of wild,
and his life personal life is falling apart, you know. Yeah.
Frank Lucas leads a reasonably
normal,
appropriate, normal, but he's doing all these corrupt things and making all this money and engaged in brutality.
And that means, you know, everything's not cut and dry.
Some people try to read that it somehow took you back to the street.
I wouldn't say back to the street, but to those raw emotions. You know, those emotions is, and the details in those emotions is what people liked.
I just want to dive on. I know you watched it over there. I just found that. I just want to dive into what Manos threw in on the feed. I want to tag on that for a little bit. We appreciate you tuning in. I see what you're talking about with the kids in the back. I feel like this is one of those videos that it can look whatever way you want it to look. Like, there's kids in the background, but I don't, like, it's not like, I don't know, you feel what I'm saying? Like, you watch this video.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I said already. That's what I was saying.
It looks like when I have my nephews and nieces in the house and a homeboy comes over, that's how I greet the front door.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it could be one way, it could be the other.
In the comments, but you know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Like about me, because they can relate to that struggle, and it makes it feel like, you know, you're not going through these things by yourself, because the detail that I write it in that detail because I've seen it and I've actually lived it. So I can write it in details that most people who haven't seen this lifestyle, you know, how could you do that?
How did you live it?
I've been around it. You know, I grew up in Brooklyn and RC projects. It was everywhere.
You saw it, felt it, knew it, understood it, survived
absolutely.
it.
I survived it. Very important.
Yeah. How did you survive?
Luckily for me, I had a God-given talent. You know, it took me a while to really realize it. You know, I've had this talent my whole life. I started writing when I was 9. My first album didn't come out till I was 26 because I was running the streets, and I thought that was more important. You know, and it was a good thing I had great people around me, and they would push me like, you're wasting your talent, you're wasting your talent. And finally I listened, and, you know, once I took that right turn, that, you know, to be an entertainer, I never looked back.
Yeah. But what's interesting about you, and we'll talk about this later, and
hold on, I do wish that he said who those people were. Facts. Like, are you talking about Dame Dash? You talking about Big? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who are those people that pushed you in that direction? And it wasn't that simple.
Well, this is just a quick little snippet on the side note. Him and Biggie had similar circumstances. I mean, Emory Jones, Jay-Z said many times, you know, he took a rap for him one time. Biggie had a homeboy took a rap for him one time because he was starting to blow up in the music world.
For sure.
we've talked about it before. You don't just have the talent of an artist, you have the talent of an executive.
Yeah.
You're running Def Jam.
I was forced to be an executive from the beginning because when I tried to get a deal, in the beginning I couldn't get a deal. I went to every single record label and I couldn't get a deal. So it was either give up and go back to the streets, or, you know, create our own avenue and lane to, you know, be heard. So we started a thing called Rockefeller Records, you know, and we pounded the pavement and we worked hard and we put our hustling mentality to work, you know, invest back in the business and, you know, keep going, and, you know, it worked out. It worked out for me.
When you went, what made you decide, and what did you want to do when you saw this movie and was so inspired by the emotional connection? What did you want to do? You wanted to put together what you felt in a
What I did was what I end up doing, and this wasn't my intentions in the beginning. You know, it just felt familiar. It was something that felt familiar and something that I was inspired by that I wanted to do. But what I end up doing at the end of the day is make this art piece that, reads like a movie itself. It starts with a song called Pray, which is the beginning, a kid looking into the game like, I'm going in there and pray for me because it looks crazy, and then at midway through the
Looking for.
Bando said Epstein types plus Jaguar Wright says Jay-Z and Banoka are a nasty couple. I'm not sure who Banoka is. I'm about to look it up.
Who's Banoka?
Hey, Bandos, we really appreciate you being active in this, man. This is making it good. Yeah, I'm about to see Banoka.
I mean, Jaguar Wright. We post a lot of Jaguar Wright.
Banoka shows up as a city in Iraq.
Jaguar Wright. She said she was a victim. That being the case, we always gonna listen to the victims. We're not gonna say that they right, wrong, or indifferent until it's proven or whatever. But we're gonna listen. We're gonna post it.
We are down to hear all sides.
And entertaining. It worked out for me. But I took a glimpse at that life. What could have happened to me had I stayed in the street? And that's how this album plays out. It plays out as if I stayed in the street because the last song is Falling. And, 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. Because you're gambling, you're playing Russian roulette with your life every single day. 365 days of the year, you're going to crap out sooner or later. It's just natural. That's what happens.
Had you, in a sense, when you took the Def Jam job, thought about that you might not record again?
Yeah.
Because you kind of retired too many times.
Yeah, like Frank Sinatra, right?
Exactly.
What I thought was, this is my next step. This is my next step in the evolution or whatever for me. To ascend to this executive level, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And everything I do it with the culture in mind, with hip-hop and with our culture in mind, like to do things like that, to ascend to levels that other people haven't. I mean, as an artist, and be successful at it, that means the door's open for the next generation, of artists. So I thought that, this is something I had to do.
Oh, Banoka's Beyonce.
It's interesting. Tell me about
He said his wife, so Banoka's Beyonce, but he also just dropped another name in the comments. I don't know if you ever heard it. He said, I think Bunny Tree claimed Jay-Z switched on Diddy because Diddy was trying to diddle his daughter. That's a heavy accusation, brother.
Yeah, that's deep.
Unless you know Jay-Z personally. I don't know, but...
Yeah, nah, we ain't even going to do that.
I'm not diving into that one. We're not here for speculation.
Anything, like I said, right now, this here is to be able to look back, to listen to the things that he says, whether it be for the direct meaning of what he's saying or underlying meanings, body posture, like I said, we're looking into the person, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was just diving in the comments. He was spitting nicknames. It seemed like Bunny Tree and Banoka. Like, if you know these people, I mean, shit.
I'm just letting everybody know who's watching because, like I said, it's like the Diddy thing was painted in such a bad light beforehand. Like, Diddy shows those mannerisms in the essence of to where as though you could possibly believe the allegations. Jay-Z's mannerisms are very strong and calculated, and the things that he says and the things that he does are in a different nature. So it does create that wonder of like, okay, yeah, he could be that powerful.
Manos is talking like he knows people though, bro. He just said in M Hood we call her Banoka.
Oh, what? So you from Houston then? Cause that's where
is that what M Hood is?
the culture, in your own words, and because people say hip-hop has a kind of gangster culture about it. Does it? Do you see it that way? Is it because its roots are in the street?
Yeah, it's rough because you're dealing with kids who come out of the street, usually pretty young. When you get your deal, the average age has to be like 17, 18 years old, and you're fresh out of these neighborhoods. And these neighborhoods, the things that's happening in these neighborhoods, and one day people may have never experienced the things that's happening in this neighborhood in their whole entire lives. You know what I mean? So when these guys are coming fresh out of these neighborhoods and they're recording, so they don't have any sophistication.
They record what they know and what they've seen.
Yeah, they record what they know and they embellish, of course. Right. Because fantasy is just the base. Fact is just the basis for great fantasy. They embellish and they take it to make it more exciting. you know. But for the most part, this is their mentality. This is the neighborhoods that we're raised in and we're coming up out of.
Where do you see yourself in this whole sort of panorama of hip hop? I mean, you are the guy. You are the man.
I like to believe that.
Well, you know that.
Hey, Grilla,
I think I'm an ambassador.
You know how I know that? Because they all take shots at you.
Yeah, that's right.
You getting echo?
I'm getting a whole lot of echo right now. But I think it's on my side. It's when I speak. When I speak, I get a lot of echo.
That's how you know you're
absolutely,
the guy.
absolutely.
You know?
That's right.
You're all sort of, I'm going to lean on his turf.
Right.
Because if I lean on his turf,
Right.
it says something about me.
That's right. Absolutely. I look at myself as a person that, at the forefront as an ambassador for hip hop. Like I said, when I do things, I try to represent the culture in the positive light to show that we can mature. I was that guy as well. I was that guy. I was reckless and, and the whole nine. I was a product of my environment. But as I grew and I got to see other things, my sophistication level, it rose. No pun intended.
No.
Hey, look, to the comment section, that right there, what he just said is what I meant by the growth. Now, I do get what you're saying, but at the same time, like, I come from these streets. From the old me, oh, trust me, this is Barney. This is Barney, baby. Like, I have so much more to lose. I have so many responsibilities, and I have so many more things that I want to accomplish for my family and my people and stuff. So I get what you're saying, but that don't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, because we can't have a leader that's still out here doing those things and stuff. Like, what is the point? You got to elevate.
That's the word I like. After the Imus incident, and Russell, your friend Russell, who's also had an entrepreneurial instinct.
Absolutely.
Instinct.
The Godfather.
The Godfather. They began to say things like, we got to clean up the lyrics. You felt like...
Called him the Godfather.
No, that's not good. I'm not going to lie. With Russell Simmons having all his little stuff here and him being called the Godfather, that's borderline.
Russell had gone too far.
Yeah, I thought it was misguided. I thought it was misguided because you don't use that incident to say, okay, now let's do this. Because now you're blurring the issues. Those are not the same issues. Imus in hip hop, that's not the same issue. He made a racist remark, and he's an entertainer. If he would have said, I made a joke and it went too far, that's understandable. Then I'll be on his side. Like, the guy is a comedian. He's a shock jock. That's what he does in the morning. He's going to go too far. Because that's what he does. He pushes the line. But that's not what he said.
It's the same. Yeah. The same thing is true about rap artists. Absolutely. They go too far and they push the line.
Yeah.
And
that's what you do as an artist.
Your defense of them is they're entertainers, and they say they're entertainers. And so they're, some variation of being lyricists and poets, and they choose the language to express their emotions.
Right, but that's different than making a racist remark. That's not the same issue. And I have no problem having a dialogue with anyone about lyrics and censorship. But we have to have the dialogue. First of all, you can't talk at me. We have to have a conversation. You have to talk to me. And we have to have the conversation with everyone. Everyone has to be involved. Hollywood's involved. Right? That means you have to take the task the movie industry. That means you have to take pornography sites. That means you have to take these violent video games, right? You have to take everyone to task. Don't just pick on
Should everyone be taken to task?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, there's things wrong.
Just don't pick on hip hop is your point.
Exactly. There's things wrong with every industry.
Is that what's going on now, you think? You think they're just picking on hip hop?
It really seems like it.
After hearing that, it's like...
But with nothing else really being released yet.
Like which other industries?
Yeah. Like once other names come out and shit like that, if it's strictly hip hop based names, then certainly. But it seems like it happened with that comment.
There's no industry that's perfect. So, of course, there's a line where we can have a communication and a dialogue about it. Of course. But don't just pick on hip-hop. That's unfair.
And
You know,
do you think
it's unfair targeting, and it seems like we're the easy target. So that's what everyone going. They know if you take on Hollywood, you have high priced lawyers and you have big people that you have to fight within hip hop. I mean, within the movie industry.
In fact,
and all
you've
these
said
things.
there's more killing in the movie than any song that 50 Cent has ever sang.
I mean, Grand Theft Auto 3. I mean, forget about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Yeah, any movie, absolutely. Pick one.
But you also don't refrain from using words that sort of that N-word and things like that.
Yeah.
That if other artists used them, then they would jump on them.
Yeah, I think
you have a license that many people don't have.
Yeah, but you know, when you it's something funny when you suffer through the experience of being black, it gives you the license to do, you know, to use that word. And I believe this is what I believe. This is my belief. I believe people give words power.
Yeah.
People give words power. We can't remove a word and then fix what's going on. Now, if we're having a conversation and we're talking about let's get better schooling in these neighborhoods, you know, to uplift the community and give girls self-esteem so they won't refer to themselves as B's and H's, and, you know, the guys can respect them because they'll respect themselves, and let's fix the roads, and let's, you know, when we have an election, let's make sure, you know, some of the things that we say we're going to do trickle down to those communities. Then we're talking about something real. If we're talking about removing the word, then the word changes. Okay, let's remove the N-word. Then it's porch monkey. Then it's coon. Then it's...
all words I've heard in my life.
Yeah, these words, they exist. Okay, now we're switching word to word to word. What do we take every single word off the table? Like, people give words power. So if a person is racist, whether he's saying the N-word or he's saying coon, it's the same exact thing. So
absolutely,
it's really just a gesture. I'm not into doing gestures to say that we've done something. If we want to do something, we have the dialogue. Let's have a real dialogue and make some real progress.
When you want to make the argument for hip hop as popular culture,
I feel like he was pretty consistent in that interview. I mean, considering the time gap, like, I don't feel like there was a whole shift, and I don't really feel like it was a big shift.
No, it kind of seems like that.
It just struck me as they, like, album where they got to talk about everything, like, and they were just their artistic albums. You know, for me, that's just like my artistic album. Everything that just covers the whole career. You know, one album.
Well, I heard you saying something that it was almost like a funeral.
Yeah, like that, and you know, that's the funeral. That's the funeral's garb. But nah, it's more so but nah, it's more so
that it was almost like a funeral.
Yeah, like that, and you know, that's the funeral. That's the funeral's garb. But nah, it's more so I would say more of a look back than the funeral. You know what I'm saying?
So more of a reflection than a
Right,
death.
right.
Okay. Can you describe your state of mind when recording the album? Like, how was it different than some of the other records that you worked on?
I know it's funny. Like, when I went in to do this album, I thought I was gonna do different things differently. I thought I was gonna write. You know what I'm saying? Dot the I's, cross the T's, pop the P's, all that. You know. But at the end of the day, it's music. So I just got to do, you know, what flows, you know, naturally. I had to do what I always do, but I was writing a book at the same time, so that really put me in the space too, because I like all these things that was fresh in my memory, you know, as well as things I didn't know. I was finding out, you know, when I was talking to my mom and things like that. I was just right. It seemed like I was just right in it.
I wanted to ask you, when you were saying that you found out about some things from talking to your mom that you didn't know, what are some of those things?
Yeah, right. You gotta buy the book.
Do not pay somebody to build.
We're going to check out this No Jumper interview that just dropped. It looked like it just dropped.
Gotcha.
Let's see. It dropped 2 hours ago. I just want to catch the Diddy section of it. Anything that's not Diddy, I'm probably going to skip through it.
She like, YouTube room with you no more, right?
Is that whack?
middle of the night, like every night. But why would number one, my kid's gonna mess around with a snack. Number two, my girl is OCD as fuck. She's not letting me keep a snack next to the bed. If I like,
and who was that? And the birthday girl had to tell him, that's Rakita.
My legs, she's touching the hair, she's talking about how much she likes the hair on my legs. Sydney, it's real than like a fight that takes place outside of some random club when they run into each other.
Listen,
but isn't that kind of gangster?
Off a lie, that ain't gangster. Gangster would have been if he'd have had somebody over there really go do the surgery before. We ain't gonna use the McQuarrie to do the surgery before.
Only because I respect her choice to live as a woman, but also because it would just be so much more calm. That was the quote that they just put on the screen.
Look at him. Come on, bro. Look at him.
That's all bullshit. I don't know that man. I've never met him before.
Talking about loose cannon.
Why are you trying to take down fictional cops?
I'm saying.
No, he's talking about Diddy. Look at the title.
Only thing I'm saying is that was his son.
Why would Page Six be reporting on loose cannon?
You see what Eddie Winslow's doing right now, right? We ain't gonna use the McQuarrie name because I got too much respect for that family.
A video surfaced on Twitter of comedian Loose Cannon. A comedian Loose
Bladder. And you know what? R&B she was doing this to me all morning, so I'm already numb in the face.
They clout chasing. They clout chasing like shit, bro.
Sure.
You and Jay-Z battled, right? Yeah, because this battle happened, right? Correct?
A couple times.
Couple of times. It wasn't just once.
Nah.
So when you and
when the
Jay-Z
people some tend to refer to it when it happened backstage.
We heard that Big L had recorded
that one back.
Nothing. That said absolutely nothing.
No.
Him behind the desk doing the production, and it was
called Takeover. At the Hot 97 Summer Jam concert, he famously premiered the track while projecting a childhood photo of Mobb Deep member Prodigy, who was dressed as Michael Jackson. The lyric from the song being, "I don't care if you Mobb Deep, I hold triggers to cruise. I've got money stacks bigger than you. When I was pushing weight back in '88, you were a ballerina. I got your picture."
And when that happened, Jay-Z's mom was actually listening to the song when they debuted the song on the radio and called up her son and was like, this is not okay. Like, this is a child, and there's a mother here, and you're taking it way too far. Jay-Z was actually kind of shamed by his own mom, and so he called up Nas and apologized. And that was the beginning of them kind of finding peace. Of course, we saw them later going on stage and actually performing together. And when they went out there, the audience goes absolutely insane because the audience knows that these two guys and their music lyrically have like killed each other in their songs. But all of a sudden now they kind of put it together and managed to even perform together on stage. It was incredible.
I'm not gonna lie, man. As of right now, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there right now. I just shot them through the matrix real quick. But I'm gonna leave it there right now. I feel like everything that I've seen so far is just like he's still the same person.
My mindset hasn't changed from before we started watching the interviews.
Besides social media is a motherfucker, yo.
Yeah, I mean, all we're hearing right now is people's personal opinions and allegations. Like Jaguar Wright saying what she's saying. Until she comes out with evidence on that, that's speculation.
Yeah. I just, like I said, it's like she said she has videos of different things, and she was like, he's the main one, and this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. And it's like when you look at old Diddy videos and interviews, you kind of get sense. Vibes, and he says things about his parties and different things that you're like, oh, okay, okay.
It's just like the guy that just released the Kim Porter book that says, I have a flash drive. That's, until everyone sees it, it's really just you saying what you're saying.
But yeah, this Jay-Z thing, man, I feel like I just can't. I can't see it. I can't see it.
Nothing.
I feel like Hov is, I don't think he there. I don't think so, man.
Nah,
I think that fuck it up for me.
His name being brought up until I see evidence is just an attack on hip-hop, honestly. Yeah. It's an attack on somebody high up.
For sure. Well, that's our take on it. We appreciate y'all rocking with us and all that good stuff.
Much love to the truth.
Yeah. Innocent until proven guilty. The buyout